pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks.
I'm here.
Commissioner Eichmeyer.
Here.
Commissioner Metter.
Here.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Here.
It was close.
I need minutes of meeting held on May 1st, 2023.
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second? Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks.
Yes.
Commissioner Eichmeyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Metter.
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Yes.
On the visitors, Patty Cartwright. Yes, ma'am. I believe it came about moving of a trailer that was out of the age that is allowed by ordinance. Does anybody have any comments or questions since the last meeting?
I believe our attorney he did write a response.
I did, Mayor, and I have looked at the ordinance that applies to this, and it does specifically say no mobile home over 15 years of age may be placed outside a mobile home park in the city. That's if you're moving it to a new lot, and there's no other exceptions other than the 15 years. So if it's older than 15 years and you want to move it to a lot where there's not currently a mobile home, then that's not allowed under the current ordinance.
I have one there already.
Right, but I mean, you're moving it to, you're gonna move the old one on and put this one on.
Yes.
Right, yeah, it would apply to that situation.
So we're not gonna let it get moved?
It's not up to me to decide, I'm just telling you what the ordinance says.
Okay.
For it to be moved, we would have to change the ordinance. I assume.
Yes.
Does anybody have any desire to change an ordinance to allow such a move on a trailer? Not hearing any. With not hearing any wanting to move with a new ordinance, I guess the council is saying they're sticking with the ordinance that's currently there.
Yeah, they've got a problem with mobile homes in town here, because I've checked every place. But since I already had one there, all these other people I've talked to in town don't understand why that I can't move it. It's not moved in town, it's going towards the river.
Well, it's still within its corporate city limits, so it's still under this ordinance.
Alrighty then.
All right,
Okay, thanks.
thank you. Ally Bowe with Bowe's Pizza. Welcome.
Thank you. Can we come up here?
Yeah, if you want to stand up
Okay.
right there where you're at, that's fine.
Okay. Well, I'm Allie with Bowe's Pizza. I guess, did you want to introduce anything or?
Ally, her brother Joe and her dad, we had a meeting with them, and I guess I'll let you make the announcement. I know it's kind of already been on the internet, but if you want to go ahead.
So this summer we are collaborating with a local-ish company, Ginger Ales. They originated in Olney, and they serve soft drinks, sweet treats, breakfast items, and so just a little bit of a story. Bowe's Pizza originated back in Vincennes, but my dad and my uncle's first restaurant was in Olney as well, and so just kind of a cool story that both of us started in the same town, and they recently started franchising in the past year or so, and I think they're on their 7th franchise so far, and so they were looking to move into Mount Carmel and having troubles finding real estate, and we're in a position where we're only open from 4 to 8, 4 to 9 on the evenings, and so we were excited about the opportunity to bring a ginger ale to Mount Carmel, because I think a lot of people were really interested in it, but also just to, provide more career opportunities with our store, bring some new menu items on, and kind of improve and, expand our property a little bit. So we're really looking forward to it, and we're expecting to hopefully open up in the middle of July. So if things go to plan, that is the goal.
Yeah, talk a little bit about your menu change a little bit.
Okay, so, we're gonna be bringing on, obviously, we're gonna be open from 7 to 8 and 7 to 9, with this collaboration. And so, they have all their fountain drinks, their flavored drinks that they're really, known for, but they also have some specialty coffee options and frappes and smoothies. So we'll also be bringing in their breakfast menu, as well, but we're gonna be kind of playing with our menu with something that we've never done before. We're gonna be offering, pizza by the slice for breakfast and for lunch, so we'll have, breakfast pizza options. Those are the pizzas that we always play around with. We've never been open for breakfast before, but all of our employees love them. And for lunch, we'll be doing a pizza by the slice combo, available from 10:30 to 4. And so you'll be able to get the big slice, order breadsticks, a ginger ale drink, all for under $10, even I think under $8. So hopefully we can provide some, affordable lunch options. And really, we're just excited to be open up for lunch and for breakfast too, because, it's neat for us to be able to play around with our menu.
Looking forward to it.
Yep, thank you.
Bob's Pizza has applied for TIF benefits, and I think their original estimate on what they were going to spend was $94,500, if I'm remembering correctly.
Close to it, yeah.
Yeah, and then, we talked the other day, had some signage add-ons and stuff too, but we worked with our TIF attorneys out of Metro East, and they've came up with $13,900 in eligible TIF expenditures. And what we're asking from the council this evening is the amount of $13,900 out of TIF to help Bob's and ginger ales make this happen here in Mount Carmel.
You need a motion?
I do need a motion.
I'll make it.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks.
Yes.
Commissioner Reitmeyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Yes.
Commissioner Matter.
Yes.
I just want to say thank you again for that and for the opportunity, and we're really excited for it.
Yes, we are too. Thank
Good
you.
luck.
All right, Robinson Outdoors. Welcome back.
Thank you. You guys got this handout last time, right? You guys been able to go through it. I know I kind of went over it real quick last time. Is there any questions that you guys have about our structure and what we bring to the city and the opportunity? Just remember that you guys get that tornado warning system where all the advertising stops on our digital boards and warns people that there's a tornado coming through. The city gets to utilize the board to advertise events and stuff that, whatever you need. You guys get that free of charge. We don't charge anybody for that, or you guys for that. But is there anything you guys have for me about this?
Anybody have any questions?
I just hope you never have to use a tornado part.
Well, we don't want to use it either, but it's there in case there's a warning, somebody's driving the music up or whatever, at least they'll see it and take shelter. So that's a good little perk there. And it's gonna bring a lot of buzz to Mount Carmel, a new platform of advertising. And, so I think there's gonna be a lot of excitement about it.
Question. So since it's partially on a state route, has IDOT approved this, or do you have to get IDOT?
No, it has to go through the city.
City first.
City's gotta okay it, and then, give us a zoning letter, and we send it back to IDOT, and then it takes about 6 weeks to get the permit.
I'm just not convinced that that's the perfect location for it. I mean, I know that's the most visible, but with the other, we've already got billboards on each side, we've got the CVS sign, even though it's not operable, you've got the stoplights that are there. I just don't know that that would be the most opportune location and aesthetically fit.
The reason why it's the best location is because of the amount of traffic that comes through that intersection. Traffic all slows down, it's a four-way stop, it's a safe location, it's wide open, it's not congested, especially that lot, it's not congested at all. So that's why you guys would want it there, to get the message out. So that's why we chose it.
Yeah, this afternoon, I was on a call with another business person here in town that owns property and mentioned Robinson Outdoors and stuff, and he was familiar with them, and then he would be interested in speaking with them about putting it on a different lot. And I don't know if that's, like I said, I told you about it as we came in this evening, as an alternative, might be. And that intersection actually has more traffic than this one.
Was you able to, the mayor from Mount Vernon and the mayor of Olney,
Yeah, I talked to
did they reach out to
John
you?
and Mark both, so.
Yeah, pretty good supporters of it,
Yep.
so, okay.
Any other comments, questions? Do we want to vote this evening, or?
If we vote, he can still change the location if he desires, is that the case, or does he like, if we vote,
It'd have
he's
to
locked
come
into
back.
that location?
Have to come back.
There is one more thing I am following your city ordinance, so it's not gonna be bigger, it's not gonna be taller than what's allowed. I understand that the only thing is just it has to be approved by you guys for me to put it there, but I'm not asking for a variance. I'm following the law, so, I just want you guys to keep that in mind as well.
So that doesn't answer my question.
Well,
If we approve it, it would have to be approved for that
but
location.
you're doing location.
Yes.
And then
So
if
if
he
we,
chose to change it, then
Then
they'd
it'd
have
have to
to
come
amend
back.
it to back.
Yes.
But that's the location he wants, so I doubt he would change it.
would you consider a different location?
I really like the one I picked out. I've spent a lot of time working with the landowner on that, several months. That, in my opinion, is the best location in town.
Did you do a traffic?
I'm not gonna say never.
Did you do a traffic study on that to see which intersection has the most?
No, sometimes it's not always about the traffic count, it's about the location. And when you're coming to rural markets, and that's where we don't put them on the interstates, we don't put them in big cities. We come in and put them in the rural markets, and where you start talking to, other business owners and stuff, and that's an intersection. Everybody comes from downtown, comes down to that intersection. It just seems like that's where McDonald's is at, Walgreens or CVS. It just seems to be the location to be at.
I don't have a problem with the billboard. If we vote on it, he's locked into that location, and in fact, if he's set on that location, okay, go ahead.
Well, do I have a motion to approve it?
I'll make it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks. Commissioner Eichmeyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
No.
Commissioners Matter.
Yes.
Other visitors this evening? Okay, go ahead.
I have a few things, actually. Get down at Fifth and Locust, the Locust Street, and there's a creek that runs through there. Seems like it's getting a lot of trash. Water heater, shopping carts, bicycles. I don't know who's in charge of cleaning that up.
It's on private property.
The whole thing?
Pretty well.
Okay, then it's my responsibility.
The city, it's interesting is that, like the ditch that runs behind Commissioner Eichmeyer's house is not the city's. It's the landowners, and a lot of creeks in town, they actually butt up to each other.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah, I mean, we're more than willing to help you out. As far as a lot of the creeks, most of them are private land.
I just bought the property
Yeah.
a while back and had no idea, so I just
Yeah.
noticed there's a lot of trash getting in there, just didn't know. That's fine.
It's quite unfortunate, but yeah.
That's fine. It's all right. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, no, not a problem.
Also by the water tower there, Fourth and Locust,
Yeah.
there is a high-pressure gas line that basically just sticks out the ground.
Okay.
It seems to me like it might need some protection.
Mr. James?
We can talk later if you want.
We'll look into that.
But it's right at the water tower, Fourth and Locust.
Yeah.
So it's painted red. I talked to Mike Gidcombe, different subject. I talked to Mike Gidcombe before. He was complaining about my sump pump pumping water across the sidewalk at 7th Street, the church there, 222.
Yes.
That did not happen until we got that horrible rainstorm a year ago. And I know that you guys just talked to somebody, your working on the drainage, city sewer, correct? A couple meetings ago, I think.
I don't know about in your area, but
That's why I was bringing it up.
yeah,
If you're gonna do that, I would like for you to look at that area, because something happened there, because that thing never pumped water.
yeah.
And unless it was a horrible rainstorm and it would stop, now it pumps every day, all day, repeatedly. So something,
It's fifth and
seventh.
seventh, sorry.
I'll work on that tomorrow. Okay.
I don't know what it is, but it was a year ago.
I'll send our water sewer maintenance down though.
They can run a camera, it's not a problem.
Right. And the last thing is for our city attorney, on the trash pickup. If they do not do their job, do they have any breach of contract, non-performance, restitution that they have to do if they don't pick up trash?
You mean they being
The Republic. Because your girls over here are fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, they
So,
take care of it.
let me ask a question before it's answered. Did they come back and pick it up eventually?
The next week,
Okay.
but we're not the only ones.
I understand, yeah, we field, Port Judy fields, several calls on Mondays, and Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Question is it out the night before?
Oh, yeah,
Okay, well, I gotta ask,
yes.
because some people put it out after 7, 8 o'clock in the morning and it doesn't get picked up.
Okay, I'm bringing it up, I guess, all on me at the moment, but I am not the only one, I know.
Right.
I mean, there was been several weeks already this year that
Yep.
they just missed us all. They call, they
Yep.
say they'll come get it, they don't. They call again, they say they'll come get it, they don't, blah, blah, blah.
Sir, we are working that issue.
Yeah.
I will tell you, like, there's email traffic between myself and all the way up to their vice president of operations. And we are working it, like, it seems like every Monday and Tuesday we're working it. So I'm hoping that, our persistence will eventually give way because, you know, yes, there are some ramifications if they don't comply by the contract.
That's the answer I was looking for.
Yes, and we are, and here's the thing, I know people complain about them a lot, but they are a good company to work with.
They really do.
But you're only as good as some of your employees out there, so I think that's some of the issue, because they're very attentive and they do answer the phone when we call. But yes, we are working with
The
them.
guy that picks up my trash, he's always really nice and friendly. It's just that
But, yeah,
they neglect to do it sometimes, and I'm assuming it's probably a different
They
crop
have-
or,
Yes.
you know,
They're going
somebody
through-
gets sick, and they just miss it.
but we are working with them as,
Right, and that's fine, that was the only question, was, is there a penalty for them?
There is, but sometimes by going after the penalty, you're gonna spend more money
Right.
than just having them being consistent in calling. Believe me, they've missed all of our trash.
Oh, I know, that's what I said, I'm throwing it all off on me at the moment, but I know I'm not the only one in this town that makes this complaint, but I just
Oh, yeah.
wanted to ask the question, it was if there was a clause in the contract for that.
I remember the last time we did that out, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. You know, they've had their issues over the years, and, you know, I was hopeful to see other options, just to see what they were, and they were about half of what anybody else was at that time, or close to it.
It's-
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't, like I said, it's not about the people doing it, it's not about your rules, I get things happen.
Right.
But you pay for the service and you don't get the service, right? It's none of you, I understand that. I get it. Okay, that's all.
We're working on it. Anything else? You're good? All right, thank you. Anybody else this evening? Yes, sir.
You have any update as far as on the river camps?
I was gonna report on that.
Yeah, Brian's got a.
I'll report real quick. We have to give individuals a certain amount of time to vacate.
Yeah.
They were served letters last week. We're waiting 30 days. After 30 days, we're gonna go back in and we're gonna clean it out. And then we have to get our city engineer in to mark those spots.
Yeah.
So we have the actual true legal description.
If notices were sent out, I didn't receive one.
No, they were hand delivered on the ones that there are certain you have a contract with us or no?
No.
You do not, okay. I was told the police served all notices last week that everybody had to be off in 30
No, I do
days.
not have a contract, no, sir.
Okay. So that's what's happening though right now. We're trying to have everyone removed.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna we're gonna go in with the city engineer, have him mark it, and then at that point, we will take bids. I mean, this is gonna be a long process due to the time
Yeah, I think
constraints.
in the last meeting, it was like I would get a sealed bid.
Yes, you get a sealed bid, and then the individuals bidding on that property
Yeah.
would be able to go to an auction format.
Yeah.
So,
So the way I understood it, it was a sealed bid, you put your sealed bid in, and then if that don't get it, then it goes to auction?
No matter what it goes.
no matter what, it goes to auction.
Okay.
The
So
bid
the
gets you
bid is-
in for the opportunity to do the auction.
We start out the highest sealed bid, and then from there, the only people who have put in a sealed bid for that lot
Okay, we'll go
have
to
the
auction.
ability to
Okay.
bid in a live auction.
And see,
As far as eviction notice, how long do you have to get off or
30
remove your,
days.
30 days,
remove your stuff,
Yeah.
once it's issued?
yeah,
Okay.
so.
All right.
Sir, what's your name?
It's Robert Farmer.
Okay, when the meeting's over, that map behind Mr. Turner, we need to look at that, and you need to show me where you're talking about.
Okay.
Because we addressed everything that was in question on
Sure.
that day, so.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, we can't put anything up for bid until we get the actual legal identifiers.
Which that may take a couple months or.
It won't take Dave that long, will it? No. So I've got faith in him. It'll be quick, so.
All right.
So that's my report on the.
All right,
rubber
thank you.
camps.
Anybody else visitors? If not, moving on. Welcome to this evening's meeting. I'd like to congratulate all the graduates of class of 2023 on all their achievements. Something that we've been seeing a lot of here in the city is yard abatements are beginning to pile up. So please mow your yard. We will mail out one reminder, and then after that reminder, we will come in and mow it, and we can come in after any other time that we deem it needs to be mowed, if it's out of spec of the ordinance, and mow it without giving you another notice. So, help us help you, mow your yards, keep it cleaned up. If not, we have to come in and then we'll be sending you a bill. And it's, the first time it's not too bad, but the second, third, fourth, and fifth time, it does get quite expensive. The city pool is filling as we speak, and we hope to have it ready for Memorial Day weekend opening. Currently, my question to the council this evening is that we are currently charging $2.50 per person, and then the pool parties are $1.75 for 2 hours. We've had an increase in minimum wage. Do we want to keep the current charge, or do we want to increase it? As it sits right now, we are the cheapest municipal pool in the area.
Some data from other,
Huh?
do you have some data from?
Yeah, Grayville's at 3 1/4. They do something that's interesting as far as the local school kids, but I can't remember exactly how that works, which it's a cheaper charge. Alney is $3.50. Albin's not opening up, but they were 3 1/4. Lawrenceville is $3.50.
So you mentioned Graybill has it cheaper for a child. I mean, does everybody else is just a flat fee, no matter if it's an adult or a child?
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's adult or child. If you're not a school child in Grayville within that school district, then the charge is $1.75. We've not increased that in many years.
Do we have passes?
Yes, we'll have passes. And I believe they were $65 per person, and then a family of 4. What was that? $150, I believe is what that was.
How did we come out on the pool last year? Financial
financially, we always run positive on concession, and then what helped us last year, which we'll end up doing again this year, is having those sponsored pool swims for free swimming. Those worked out very well last year. We actually financially did better last year by doing that.
What do we charge? I'll kind of gawking through this other
Oh,
stuff.
current charge per person is $250. And then the pool parties is $175.
Is that just a flat rate, no matter how many people you have for the pool party?
Yep, that's the way it's always been.
I don't think 50 cents would hurt, would it? I mean, everything's going up.
Yeah,
Everything we deal with on a daily basis is costing more money.
yeah.
When did we set those rates last? 3 years ago?
We went backwards, it was $350. And then in 2019, we went down to $250 from the $350.
As they raised the tickets to $3. And, the parties are how much?
$175, which that's not finished, I'm gonna do here.
Make them 200.
Yeah. So,
That shouldn't be too hard for anybody to swallow.
yeah, so is everybody fine with increasing the, charge to $3 per person and then the pool party $200?
Okay, like I said, our utility costs are higher.
Everything's higher.
Labor cost is definitely higher.
Yeah. Everybody good with that?
You got a motion?
Just adjust the pool.
No, we don't
house.
have to have a motion, we're just doing an internal pricing. Unless Mr. Turner says we need to, I think we did. So we will be, starting taking reservations for pool parties tomorrow. All right. Will we do appointments now or just wait for new business?
Sorry? Yes, we can do appointments. I'll tell you how it's, let's see, Mayor, the way it's set up right now, which you have in front of you,
Yes.
is we'll make motions by the board, by each particular board, and then for appointments of particular, or for specific offices, those will all be on one particular order. So the first one we have is on the Police Pension Board. We have Mark Seaton, Jared Price, Kyle Adams, and Jeff Beesing, all for a term of 4 years, and I will be appointed as a city representative.
Do I have a motion?
Need a motion on that.
I'll make it.
Do I have a second? Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks? Commissioner Reichmeyer?
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman?
Yes.
Commissioner Metter?
Yes.
The next one is the Fire Pension Board. That would appoint Mark Seaton, Tyler Jefferson, Aaron Brown, Elijah Hadrid, and once again, myself would be representative for the city.
All right.
Need a motion on that.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks? Commissioner Reichmeyer? Commissioner Zimmerman?
Yes.
Commissioner Metter?
Yes.
Ethics Board, the Ethics Advisor would be Kelly Stortman, Bill Easton, Stan Ernest, Mike McWilliams, term to be 4 years.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks?
Yes.
Commissioner Reichmeyer?
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman? Commissioner Metter? Whoops, Metter. Sorry about that. And the Police and Fire Commission, there are 2 openings that are not openings, but 2 individuals that need reappointed. Mr. Shad White is still within his time frame. Cassandra Goldman's would be for a 3-year term, and Mike Harris would be for a 2-year term. And I'll need a motion on that.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Do I have a second? Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks. Commissioner Eichmeyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Yes.
Commissioner Metter.
Yes.
And last would be the Director of Senior Citizens, which would be Tracy Dunkel, and that's for a 4-year term.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second? Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks.
Yes.
Commissioner Eichmeyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Yes.
Commissioner Metter.
Yes.
All right, on the next, this is all on one order. This would be the appointment for Chief of Police, Mike McWilliams. For the Fire Chief would be Francis Steth. City Manager, City Clerk, Ryan Turner. City Treasurer, Georgia Vaught. Director of Public Works, Mike Gitcom. Assistant Director of Public Works and City Inspector, David Easter. City Attorney, Derek McCullough, and Water Billing Clerk, Heath Reed.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks. Commissioner Eichmeyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Yes.
Commissioner Metter.
Yes.
So, gave authorization to Mr. Turner to reach out for bids for the firehouse roof. We received 2 bids, one from David Brown Construction and one from Sharp Solutions. David Brown Construction bid $39,600. And Sharp Solutions bid $35,650. I know it's gonna put it off 2 weeks. Chief, you think the roof can last 2 more weeks before we approve this?
I hope the wind don't blow anymore.
Okay. And the reason being is that I would like Mr. Turner and Mr. Gitcom to sit down and go through, make sure that we are getting what we need at the firehouse as long as a new roof. Is that agreeable, Mr. Turner?
Yes.
All right, so, you good with that, Susan?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll put that off for 2 weeks. All right. For his first report, Commissioner Metter.
Yeah, the street department, worked at Kitty Land a lot, filled in some potholes, brush arbor maintenance, cleaned up out there, also cleaned up, at the street department, hauling off some scrap. We investigated some sinkholes, and we're doing work in preparation, getting city pool open, painting, and stuff of that nature. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Metter. Commissioner Ackermeyer.
Thank you, Mayor. General fund the past 2 weeks at $387,289. Pretty good start to the year. Sales tax, $88,272. State income tax, $168,748. Utilities, $3,685. State use tax, $20,739, and replacement tax, $103,158. So we have a current balance of just a hair under $3.6 million in our general fund. Into my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Ackermeyer. Commissioner Meeks.
Thank you, Mayor. Since going from street department to sewer water department, my reports have gotten shorter. Sewer plant, things are running smoothly, nothing to report. I was down there the other day, took a tour of the whole thing, because I want to know what's down there, and it is running pretty smoothly. Water department, spent a lot of time with these crews that are boring for fiber optic lines. I think they've gotten into a couple of our sewer lines, maybe a water line, so we're spending a lot of time with those guys, just sitting there making sure they don't tear something up. Used a jet truck to clear a couple of sewer lines, did maintenance on the swimming pool, as did Mr. Metter's group, starting to fill the pool. Actually, the pool's about half full, I think. And mowed and weeded several locations. End of my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Meeks. Commissioner Zimmerman.
Thank you, Mayor. The fire department had 10 calls in the last 2 weeks. They varied from smoke detectors going off to a motor vehicle accident, assisting with a motor vehicle accident with no injuries. So they have had a variety of events that they have gone to. They also had their bi-monthly meeting where they worked on the different firefighting and water supplies and how to, which fire hydrants have the most water and which ones don't, and what to do when they don't have that water. So we discussed that, and then the garbage. There have been a couple of issues, but people are, when they call in, the garbage department has been very responsive, and Republic has been very responsive in doing that, and they are very quick if you email them, they email you back immediately. So that is the good thing, that we do have that good communication with them. Into my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Zimmerman. Also, we have the Electronics Take Back Day on Saturday from 9 to noon at the Motorrad Old Shop Hill parking lot.
Mayor, I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
My trash, or my tote, I guess they call them, is about ready to collapse. And they say leave it out front and they will pick it up within the week. But we have an ordinance that they can't be out front more than 24 hours.
So what you need to do is notify us. We are making a list up here of damaged totes. Commissioner Eichmeyer and I were just talking about that today is, you know, these totes, some of them are now 7 years old. They've been through a lot. Judy up front, she actually sent an email out last week asking if there is a shortage or if there is a reason. We are not plussed up as much as we usually are for the city. I think it's just probably, I'm guessing it's just like everything else. There's a shortage. But they are in town once in a while. You'll see them swapping these out. So just, Tom, if you have an issue, let us know and I'll shoot them an email.
So we just leave it out front until they pick it up, is that the deal?
It's different having it full of trash and it being empty to get picked up because it's damaged.
I mean, I think if it's damaged, like I saw one last week on Cherry, they had the wheels setting up on top. That gives them a notice of, hey, this is broke, as opposed to just setting out. But if they call up and tell us, we can shoot an email so they know, okay, this one's out for pickup. So I'll take
Well,
care
I
of
knew I
that.
wasn't the only one with that problem.
No, it's grown
That's why I
exponentially in the
brought it up
last
in the
month.
meeting.
So we'll get that taken care of tomorrow.
Anything else, Mr. Turner?
Oh, I've got a report. I was just answering Commissioner Meeks's issue. So on my report, I have a couple things for the council to consider. First, Dan Schonertz reached out. As you know, he has the State Farm building up on Market Street. We currently own 500 and 502. Dan's looking at increasing his footprint on Market Street. He's proposing a building. It's a storage building. It wouldn't be a new storefront, but a storage building would be adjacent to his property. I sent you guys, I think you got the diagram today of what he's actually looking at. He said he would make it aesthetically pleasing. What he was asking is if we would put it up for bid, and I think in the past we've kind of turned that down because we wouldn't want someone to just be building something to obtain the property and then not do anything with it, because the ultimate goal is to get it back on the tax roll and put something up there that's appeasing to other parties. He's requested either the full property or he would like the back portion with those plans so he could put that building there. I did talk to Moran. Once again, this is one of the properties through TIF. We could, per se, give to him with some strict stipulations. But it's ultimately, it's up to you if you guys want to split the property, giving the whole property. The one plus about if we split it, we still control the front portion of it, and then if we do something with 500, you know, that could be part of the deal too, that if individuals want that front part for business expansion. But ultimately, it's up to the council to decide if they want to continue negotiations with Mr. Schonert on this. If we do, I would send everything to our TIF attorneys or TIF representatives for a formal contract. And then you would approve it off of that formal contract.
So how much does he want, I mean, just for the building itself?
He wants the open lot.
He wants an open lot to put the building that,
Because he currently owns he owns the lot right next to him, correct? Okay. So
he needs extra.
But the one building, the one diagram he has,
Yeah,
The
that's,
building is all on his lot and his lot only, correct?
no, because I think the offset wouldn't work on that one. I think he needs the property if he'd turn it, because he has to say so far off of our,
so this one does not work?
the building will be built with only, okay,
With one lot,
Yeah.
with only his lot available? So
Correct.
it is
it is
able to be,
yes.
possible to be built on
He's
his lot only?
requesting it to be this way, that's correct.
Correct. But he would still have all this as his frontage?
Correct.
And then we would lose all
Well,
this back part?
yes, we'd lose that portion.
Okay.
So. It's up to you guys, how do you guys want me to proceed?
That's his. We only have that part right there.
What direction do we want to give Mr. Turner on this subject?
I'm a little confused, just briefly, just to make sure I understand. We can put it up for bid to sell it, or because
Correct.
of the TIF piece, we can work out something through that.
We can do like, you can do one of two things, like, since we own the land, we can put it up to bid where he'll have to be an active bidder. Or two, due to TIF, basically what you're doing is you're giving him a grant for that with stipulations that he has to develop the land in accordance to what we come up with. So like, we would set the stipulations, not him.
So in this case, instead of selling him the property and then giving him TIF benefits, we're just potentially giving him
That
the
would be
property
the only
as
benefit
the
that
TIF
he would
benefit.
get. He wouldn't get
So, yeah.
yeah, we wouldn't be giving him cash per se, but if he wanted to buy the land, he would have to bid like everybody else, because, I mean, we
And then
can't
he would
just,
have that entire lot.
correct.
He's always
Yes.
maintained the property that he bought originally well, and, so it'd be one less thing we would have to.
We are currently mowing it and maintaining it.
But then we would lose if somebody wanted to purchase that lot, or I mean, if somebody wanted, if whatever we do with the 500 building, there would be no ability for them to expand
Right.
the other way if we give him the lot, like that back portion. It would infringe upon the 500 building.
Well, Mr. Turner can get with Mr. Schoenhert and see exactly how far up in the lot he is looking, to see if it's up.
It's on there, let me see, I believe it states in the letter.
He's got it here, 1 inch equals footage, so he's saying that's 176, so it's probably.
I don't know if it was equal to the back of his current building or where it would be.
It looks like it's a little less than half on this.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at.
100 frontage.
It'll be a little over half that way.
Yeah.
It'd be 76 feet of
Yeah.
frontage if it's placed north and south, using both lots. There would be
26 by
76
100.
feet of frontage.
60 by 40 by 60. I say we work out let Ryan work with him a little further to get all the details figured out. and go from there.
Well, and the way, I mean, I don't know, I mean, the only thing I can do is give it to our TIF representatives at this point. I think Mr. Shoners gave us really,
You pretty much spelled out what he needed.
yeah, so I
mean,
can send it
prefer-
to him.
I mean, if we want to eventually put that lot up for bid or something, we wouldn't be able to do that if we gave him the back portion, correct?
No.
Well, you could, but I mean, it'd be diminished, I mean,
It'd be,
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
shrunk
it'd be a shrunken,
lot, correct.
when he is able to do it on his lot that he currently owns.
Well, what I can do is do exactly what I did with, Bobes, is send everything forward to our attorneys, or I mean, our representatives over in Metro East, have them send back exactly what they would recommend, and then we vote on that. Would that, I mean, I'll get with Dan and then see where he's at. I mean, I don't think there's a,
I guess I'm just thinking, big picture, I mean, we could get a building on the tax rolls right away, where who knows how long it's gonna take to get something done,
But we could get it on there either way, I mean, it would be on his
if he decides to
property.
build it.
I would think he would. I mean, it sounds like he wants to build it either way.
I'll confirm with him and let you
I
know.
mean, but if it's a storage, is it, I guess, would it still be taxed?
Yes.
Right.
Oh, yeah. It'll be based, some of what he spends, which I think this probably, he said it was gonna be a six-figure
Yes,
job, $100,000. Yeah, it's in there.
that's in here.
Okay, so more at the next council meeting.
Okay. Let's see. I know about a year ago, we were talking with the Masons in the Girl Scout cabin. They would like to move forward now. They're at the point where they need to move out of their, or they're wanting to move out of their building. You guys have already voted on everything. As far as rent goes, I told them I'd get with the council on that. I think we have some similar contracts with nonprofits where we're looking at maybe $100 a year, and they would be interested in that. Along with that, you've noticed we've changed the slope behind the Girl Scout cabin to make it a little safer for our employees, but there's some more work that we need to do. Unless you guys tell me we need to charge more for it, that would probably be consistent, or goes along with what we charge others.
Well, they'll be improving the property also.
Correct.
So I know we have some work to do on it, but, and they're a nonprofit 501c3, so.
So you don't have to vote, but is $100 acceptable to everybody, or?
I like this.
Yeah, you too.
Okay, and they'll take over the maintenance at that point, once we get our stuff done, utilities, so. They're working on selling it, and the good thing is, they did tell us, when we originally went through all this, that they're very conscious of who they would sell it to, and make sure that the individual has a plan for it, and it wouldn't go to a person who plans on letting it become a dilapidated state. The last thing is we have this special meeting on Wednesday at 12 o'clock. The reason this was we had to have a special meeting is it's a good thing. There's a local business that's planning on growing, and there was a zoning issue, so the zoning board meets on Tuesday, and as long as it goes well, Wednesday, the council convened just for the, to go along with the recommendations of the zoning board, whatever that might be, so.
That will be at noon.
Noon,
Noon on Wednesday?
yes. So,
We should buy lunch.
come out of your department, Commissioner Meek, so, absolutely. End of my report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Turner. Mr. McCall.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple updates. I know it's been a few months since we talked about a couple demolitions, petitions for demolition we have pending. I'm having trouble getting some of those owners served, which you can imagine they moved out of town, so I'm going to have to publish with regard to those, so that's going to delay, but I just wanted to give an update regarding those. I think there's 2 that we've got filed, and there's a couple that we have where they've been sold for real estate taxes, and I've talked to the Wabash County trustee, and they've agreed to proceed with getting a tax deed, and then I'll let the city take over that and then get it. So that's really what I've got going so far on those. I just want to give an update concerning those pending matters.
Thank you very much. Report, Mr. Pennington.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, fuel sales for the last 2 weeks are $2,047. Hangar rentals $1,420 for a total of $3,467 in sales this month. End of my report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pennington. Chief McWilliams.
Thank you. I just want to take this opportunity to introduce our newest officer, Officer Hunter Nelson. He's wrapping up his first month. He's from Richland County. He already lives in Mount Carmel. He already had purchased a house and was living here before even applying with us, so I think he wants to be around for a while. He did very well in the academy, and he's currently being trained with Sergeant Price and Sergeant Adams, and once he's ready to go, we'll get him out on the street. Just wanted to introduce you all to him in case you see him around. I think he's gonna be a good fit. As far as the river camps go, as Mr. Turner already mentioned, we attempted to make contact with all known owners of campers on city property that aren't in leases. To my knowledge, we did so, but apparently there's something we're missing, so we'll get that cleared up. I know there's a June 11th deadline, so we can get those vacated. But outside of that, there's been some issues with traffic at the City Park Circle, primarily with, other than speeders, which we've already addressed. We've had trouble with people, golf carts and vehicles driving the wrong way. It's a one-way loop. Golf carts and vehicles are required to follow that. They cannot drive against the flow of traffic. Trying to avoid issuing any citations or anything like that. We're just simply asking for compliance and recognition. Obviously, it's a one-lane road. There's not room for two vehicles to meet each other. Outside of that, I don't think I have anything else to report.
Thank you, Chief Scott.
I'll be getting with Mr. Thompson this week for down there at Southgate at Burn Center and getting that stuff moved and see what I can figure out. Other than that, no report.
Is not here. Okay, and the consent agenda tonight, we got resolution 697, support and commit funds of $2,500 to Greater Wabash Regional Planning Commission. And then the acceptance of the Fraternal Order of Police Contract 2023 to 2026. Mr. Turner, you want to touch on that?
Sure, Mayor. The Fraternal Order of Police contract was negotiated. Previously, we negotiated along with the Public Works and with the fire department. We're gonna get away from that. And when we went back, City of Mount Carmel has lost police officers every year, almost. When I first moved here and became a police officer, you had individuals that stayed, but with this market and with other agencies hiring, while other agencies moved forward, we were very stagnant on our pay. Our benefits were good, but our pay was very stagnant. When you can go 15 miles and make considerably amount more, or go to the state police and eventually work your way back to District 19, there wasn't a lot of incentives to stay. The people that stayed, they enjoyed the community, and I think we have people that left and wish they could have stayed, but the money just wasn't there. And I think going into it, you're not gonna get rich, but then you also have to be able to provide for your family. So negotiating and reviewing and looking at area departments, I think Mount Carmel has put a good foot forward on rectifying a negative situation. This would include a $2 pay raise over the next 3 years, $2 each year, which is a total obviously of 6. But one of the features added in this, we always had a $500 for every 3 years that would be added on to your pay. We've upped that to $1,500. So the only person that's really gonna benefit from that are the officers that wanna stick around and make Mount Carmel their home. And at the end of the day, that $1,500 continuously compounding out of 21 years, you've added to your over $8,000 to your annual income. So that was the biggest changes in this contract. If you guys accept it, I think everybody on the police department will be pleased. And like I said, I think we're moving in the right direction as far from I wish this would have happened when I was a police officer, but I'm hoping this will keep more officers here, because there is a cost to train. We're a training ground. You figure, Mike, what is it, about 5,000 to outfit an officer? 6, 7?
On an outfit to train, you're
Just
looking,
that, no, train is like minimum 10, and
and then
then the uniforms
you're
like,
looking at, you know, when you start adding in everything, vests and everything like that, you know, several $1,000s easily. And we have to do that each time we hire an officer. So it's a reoccurring cost, and, I mean, we've put 2 people through the academy in the last year, so do the math with those numbers. You gotta remember, when you hire a new officer, you're getting a new officer that has no experience, that is literally training on the job. And quite frankly, a lot of them don't become truly competent, like any profession, with a year or 2 experience minimum, which isn't unheard of in any profession, let alone the liability and responsibility. Then if they leave within that window or just after, what have we really accomplished? Very little. Every officer that's left here really liked working here, and I'm talking going back 10 years or better. They couldn't afford to stay here because they could go to Evansville, to state police, to Lawrenceville, to Olney, you name it, wherever they were willing to go, they could go and make significantly more money. So we just continue to hire people for other departments to swoop in and hire, not have to train them, and just throw them the keys and the equipment, and there you go. So it's definitely something that's been needed for a number of years. So I can't emphasize the importance of this enough unless we want to keep, and then you gotta consider your applications are drastically down across the country, let alone in Mount Carmel, and, you know, we used to test 20 or 30 people or more when I hired in, and now we're good to have 2 or 3 people left to even test after backgrounds and those other things that you have to go through, let alone if they're able to get themselves into the academy physically and academically. So, all things to consider. It's, at this point, part of doing business.
That being said, I need approval of consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks.
Yes.
Commissioner Eichmeyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Yes.
Commissioner Metter.
At least you hadn't called you Justin.
Okay. So moving forward, so we have a resolution 696, which is a proposed civility pledge. This is something that is being pushed through the state of Illinois. The civility pledge states, in the interest of civility, I pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, acknowledging that we are all striving to support and improve our community, and understanding that we each may have different ideas for achieving that option. So I need a motion to accept this pledge into our resolutions. Do I have that motion? Do I have a second? Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks. Commissioner Eichmeyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman. Commissioner Metter.
Yes.
If each of us would sign this, and if you haven't signed the pledge yet, please sign that so I can get it back to the municipal league. So, as far as old business, I'll move ahead with the city. First and foremost, I want to thank the Pool Advisory Committee for their time on, I think it's the last 6+ months, 7 months, on this, what is the city of Mount Carmel's best move as far as our city pool. Each of you guys have been given the preliminary concept, cost estimates, and profit and loss statement. I will let Josh take over from here. Welcome.
Yep, I just wanted to thank everybody, and Mayor did a good job of recapping a little bit of how this process got started. Burbach Aquatics was hired initially to do a technical evaluation. I've got a date here. We presented it to the
take down the size. 195 is bigger than our TV.
Can you turn the volume up a little?
Yeah.
All right. And then we started meeting with the city of Mount Carmel, and we started looking at different amenities, different pools in your guys' area, your service population, different competing pools in the area. And then we got to the point where the pool committee approved version number 7 that you see in front of you here. This is a brand new facility, new bathhouse, a spray pad that is 1,315 square feet. This would have ground sprays, intermediate sprays, and overhead sprays in it. Then you have your zero depth entry. And in your zero depth entry, you've got a green line for 1 foot, a yellow line for 2 foot, and a red line for 3 foot. And in that zero depth, you've got spray geysers that are in the floor, and a toddler slide, and this is a platform play structure in this corner right here where my cursor is. Then you go into your activity water, your lap lane area. This is a 6 lap lane pool. That in the deep end, this is the break line at the 5 foot right here. This would be your deep end at the south side of the pool. You've got a 3-meter diving board and a 1-meter diving board. This would be the location of your new mechanical building. And there would be a water walk, that's the cargo net up above, and the lily pads down below that the kids can go from one side to the other. And then you also have open flume body slide and shade structures around the deck. The new deck surface area would be 18,925 square feet. The pool surface area is 7,385. There's shade structures that are throughout. This would be your new concession area in your northwest corner. But, I mean, it was great working with the city of Mount Carmel on this. We looked at several different concepts, even looked at indoor-outdoor pool option, and came back to this version number 7.
What's that?
What's the deepest? Like the diving well, how deep is the diving well?
You have a 1 meter and, yeah,
No, but how deep is the water
12
though?
foot.
12 foot?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to have 11.1 to be able to have a 3-meter.
That's what I was thinking, but I want to do it for that.
No, 12.1, sorry.
11 is for the 1 meter.
That's right. We actually looked at also incorporating the drop slide that we currently have, but unfortunate with the diving boards and how the pool is situated, we would actually have to add another complete lane to be able to reuse that. And it was very cost resistant, wasn't cost worthy to do. So the current conceptual preliminary plan, Burbach Aquatics has come up with $8.2 million. There are several items in here that I feel, and we're talking with several people, and also some of them on our pool advisory board. There's some line items in here that we can take care of ourselves, and I confidently feel there's about $1 million on this estimate that we could get in-kind service or do ourselves. What, also on the profit and loss side of stuff, which is the last page you guys received, based off of their estimates, and we've also got a increase, since Alvin is closed and others are looking at not reopening after this year potentially unless they do something. Our attendance should go up based on adding in that population. And also one having, more of a destination pool versus just a pool. But it does show an operating profit of about $7,250.
Really might mention that the building with concession is the doors opened up. I don't think he brought that up.
Oh,
The concession area. Starting ground floor.
yeah, yeah.
Because it's a single one, is
Yes.
that correct?
Yeah,
It's kind of by itself, like, so the concessions are all located by themselves, is it separate from the bathhouse?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. We would have one entry and then the exits for the different bathhouses out into the pool area.
Yep, your main entry would be into the building here. There is, some family restrooms there along with an office for your pool manager. This would be the concession area all the way to the west. Then you've got your, men's and women's change area. Your women's would be all the way to the east. And, you would exit to the pool closest to the spray pad and with the men's area closest to that center hallway, that door there. Zoom out a little bit.
So are those tables that are set up out there?
Outside, yeah,
Outside
the,
tables?
yeah.
So how, so is that just concrete, like all the yellow is concrete
Yes.
and the green is?
Either turf or grass.
Okay.
And
And all
we-
of this would be fenced in?
Yes. And the reason we incorporated the green areas is because of having swim meets and things and places for them to set up their tents and things like that, so. And also, being built in the pool parking lot, it would allow us to operate our current pool while this one is being built.
So how much smaller is this actually, like capacity-wise?
Capacity-wise, what were 18, what were we before, Josh?
I believe what you have posted is around that 600 mark. With this new facility, it'd be 834. So that's a little bit, so when you look at how they did the patron calculation of the old Manners Park pool, they probably just looked at the water surface area. And they probably didn't take in the deck area as well. So, but with the new version, we have to look at your spray pad, the water surface area of your pool, your deck, and then also the grassy areas. So patron-wise, our calculation is 834. As far as water surface area, you're probably about 7,000 to 8,000 less. But as far as your activity water and useful water, this will be comparable or even more than your existing pool because you're losing so much of your surface area to 0 to maybe even a foot all the way around the pool. And then your deep end, you've got a lot of dead space in the center there as well that isn't used for swimming as well. So it's a more functional, more multi-generational facility.
Yeah, as far as the deck surface on the old pool, they can't use that deck surface as all for the calculation of patrons because it's only 4 foot wide.
Yep, and when we do the calculations on the new one, it takes 4 foot of deck around the pool that goes into your patron capacity, so. But then everything outside of that would add your patron capacity.
Does anybody on the pool advisory board have any comments or anything? We covered everything, Rick?
You've discussed the payment of it, that's what most people were.
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay, because that's what the biggest question is.
The Andrews Bathhouse, you know, that donation. I think Josh teased you about that a couple times during the process, Rick, so. But there again, like I said before, I really appreciate the pool advisory committee and their time spent on this. It's, you know, Ryan spent a lot of time, myself and Tim, but they spend a lot of time thinking about stuff and talking with their kids and their grandkids and stuff. What we're asking tonight is the approval from the city council to solely move forward with starting to investigate ways to pay for this, being grants, capital funding, campaign, things like that.
Can I ask you a quick question on the money? It says the pool area lighting system. Why is that a $0? Are they not?
Because it's an additional $119,000.
So there's no pool lighting?
There will be pool lighting, but it's a separate quote.
Okay.
Yep. Because I do still owe you a quote for the pool area lighting system. I sent you that example.
You sent the example, yeah.
That Moline. I do have, from Enterprise, they do have the analysis done,
Okay.
but I told them that's not really what I want. I wanted to know the price exactly.
Right.
So I could relay that to you in that quote. That was just for the material above ground,
Right.
Joe. That doesn't account, foundations for every pole or the labor to install all that fun stuff.
Right.
So.
Joe, you might mention that the pool would be filled, the existing pool would be filled with dirt that's coming from the existing
Right.
parking lot. So we're not trucking dirt out, we're not trucking dirt in to fill the pool. We'll be using that to drop the elevation.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, we would
also
have to-
not taking all the concrete out of the, we'll be filling dirt just on some of the existing concrete of the pool.
It'll be on the same road, right? The road will remain the same?
Yes.
The road won't get moved?
Nope.
Okay.
We, the parking lot itself would be brought down to the grade of Pool Road. We would get rid of that dirt. But as far as what Rick was saying, I think I told you guys individually, we would leave as much of the current pool there as the base and then pulverize the bathhouse materials to help backfill and then bring in other backfill material to make the parking lot. Anybody else have any questions?
No.
I need a motion to allow me and Mr. Turner and to move forward with finding ways to fund the pool. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks,
Yes.
Commissioner Reitmeyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman,
Yes.
Commissioner Metter.
Yes.
Thank you guys very much, and gals. Josh, you have anything else?
Nope. I just wanted to thank the group, the city of Mount Carmel, for you guys' time. It was a pleasure working with everyone, and let me know how we can be assistance in the future if you do need help with capital campaign. You offer capital campaign.
We'll be in touch. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, guys.
Old business ordinance 2019, first reading, request second reading, waive stop sign in the city park.
91.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway, The reason that we're able to put the stop sign where it's at is because it intersects with a crossing of motorized vehicles. I know we've looked at other stop signs in the park before, but there's not been a huge justification because of the speed limit being 10 miles an hour. One thing that we have talked about on the Parks Advisory Board is putting more stop sign, or not stop signs, speed limit signs out there. I don't know what you think, Mr. Commissioner Meeks, but, or Mr. Commissioner Eichmeyer, but, right where the stop, or the, not stop sign, the speed limit sign incoming to the park is just not in a real great location. I'd say between that shelter house on the north side and the pickleball, we can put another, speed limit sign.
Another one?
Speed limit, yes.
Yeah. Leave the one we have now.
Leave the one that's there now, but add an
That's
additional.
probably not a bad idea. I think what Chief's doing, what Williams is doing out there is gonna
Yeah.
solve a lot of problems by starting to write some
Can we add it to that?
citations.
Or do we need to add a second? Do we have to have an ordinance for speed limits?
As far as the speed limit sign,
Yes.
we'd have to have another, what's placement for placement of it out there, but I think that's another good thing to do out there.
I agree.
And look at potentially putting another one on the other side.
Do they make those like lighted, like the stop sign?
Well, yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
They're probably pretty pricey.
About $2,000 to $3,000.
We'd have to write a lot of tickets to make that back.
Yeah.
Just ask.
The last one we bought was.
The state likes most of that revenue, it don't seem like it.
Well, Mr. Mentor has an overage of MFT funds, you know.
I think we were sponsored.
I'll make the motion to waive second reading and approve the order.
All right, do I
I
have a
don't know
second?
that we need a stop sign though. I mean,
I
we've
do, I
got
sat
the-
there
we've
many
got the
times.
speed bump, but,
Those
I
speed
mean,
bumps don't do anything.
I know, but is it not up to the responsibility of the golfers at all to also stop?
This isn't about,
It's not the
this is not about the golfers, this is about the kids that run about. I've sat out there multiple evenings and people are flying through that park. Not through the park, throughout the park, leaving the park. I mean, they get up speed down that speed bump don't stop them, they don't do anything. And I just think it's that coming out of the park through there.
I don't think anybody will stop at it. I mean, I know that that's why we're putting it,
They
that you'll
will.
write tickets for it, but I don't know that that's gonna deter the problem that we have. But, I mean,
I've seen it multiple times. Just sitting out in front of the golf course or sitting on the area eating dinner, it's just constant. And I don't really see it through the park as much as it's when they're coming out because they're going a little downhill, or I think it's a little downhill.
They go uphill, downhill and back
And
up, and then
They don't
back down.
stop at that speed bump. The speed bump's really.
Speed bump doesn't even, I can hit that speed bump full speed on my golf cart and barely drive.
okay, I slow down for the speed bump, so I guess that's just me.
And it's not just kids either, it's adults, it's, I mean, and I know Mike sent some folks out and wrote tickets pretty quickly one evening, so.
And I'm gonna stand corrected, as long as we leave the speed sign where it's at, the current one, we can put another one somewhere else, but we have to leave
Yeah, we gotta leave that
where,
one there.
where the
Okay.
current one is.
Yes.
We can
And
add
then
it.
speed limit comes
Yeah, the speed
without
limit.
coming back, yeah. But the stop signs do have to be.
Chief McWilliams, we'll put you on the spot here. Is it your advisement to put a stop sign there?
I think there needs to be a stop sign there. I have had some people question whether there should be stop signs posted for the golfers crossing versus that way. So it's kind of an opinion on your part. Quite frankly, you guys are out there more than I am, some of you. I'm not opposed to the stop sign being placed there. I do think there needs to be a stop just to kind of slow them down. They may not run them, or they may run them, they may not. I mean, I don't know if you have another option, Commissioner Zimmerman, that would be, it's like anytime you try to enforce anything, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I try to have people out there, but then I've got 10 other places people want police officers sometimes, so it's hit or miss and when I can have them out there versus what's going on. And so we try to be out there sporadically as best we can, but will we get 100% compliance? Absolutely not.
How about this, we put a stop sign coming from the front side,
Talked about doing that.
going toward the clubhouse for the golfers.
Yeah, that's what we're.
And then put a stop sign on the loop as they come back toward the clubhouse, like Eric said, they come down that hill way too fast, but it stops right there for traffic.
I think that's what we're talking about.
That's,
Where have I been?
that's what we talked about at the last meeting.
Yes.
No, because the problem coming off the front side for the carts is if there's cars parked in the parking lot, they can't
Can't
see the
see,
cars
right,
coming,
right.
so they need
We
to
don't
be
have to
stopped.
have an ordinance for the stop sign on the course. We have to have an ordinance for the stop sign and the stop on the loop.
Right.
And there's a lot of, like, I know when we play at, say, Florida or something, you may see them when, you cross a lot of roads on a lot of those
Yeah.
courses, and they have like a little thing set there that
Yep.
says stop. I think that we could do something.
I think we should do that.
I think the worst thing that we can do is nothing, because then when something does happen,
Yeah,
I don't think any of us wanna sit here and have this conversation.
you're right.
That's what it comes down to.
With the 10-mile-an-hour speed limit, you know, there's so many kids out there, and they have no idea where they're at, they're just having fun.
The kids,
They shoot out in front of a car, and some guy comes from the basketball courts down, and they come off the side and get, you know, I don't even wanna think about that.
we've had golf carts go speeding through there, some of these are, you know, I had an officer stop a couple, boys headed to play basketball the other day. And quite frankly, they were driving borderline reckless. You know, so it's not just vehicles, it can be any traffic out there that can be hazardous. You know, the slower they go, the less likelihood of cars being hit by vehicles, people, or being hit by cars or vehicles. I mean, the name of the game is safety out there. We're doing all these improvements out there. I think we need to up the game on that as well, just like we have everything else. And, you know, hopefully that slows some of it down.
All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman?
Yes.
Commissioner Better?
See here, did we accomplish everything, Mr. Turner?
All except for one thing, but it's gonna be placed, just, I ask that the commissioners look at the email that I sent out, reference the business district, and review the contract. I will get a contract to our attorney for review. That's basically stating to move forward with the business, what they would charge us. There's no sense to move forward though if you guys don't want to review all that. Since it just went out today, I wasn't gonna bring that up this evening, but in 2 weeks, that'll be on the agenda. So that's all I have.
Do I have a, oh, Mr. Ellis.
Mayor, I spoke with Representative Hal Paving today, and they still intend to start probably paving on Market Street from 9th and 13th, a week from today.
That's great.
It's all home equipment in.
Yeah, I think I saw a roller and a sweeper or something parked there, so that's, unless there would be some weather delays, that's still their plans, so let the press know that.
Anybody else have anything for the betterment of the council this evening? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make it.
Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those the same say.
Gonna do some grinding on that from 9th to 13th, right?
Thursday,
You got how everybody thinks about it. You know,
Let's see, my arms are good.
I don't know.
He saw me coming out of the house and he went and changed so we looked like.